A warm welcome to everybody. Again, looking forward to the weekend's action. And unfortunately, again, the weather not playing ball with us at the moment. So we're going to start with Doncaster. We've then got some other bits and bobs for you, as well as hopefully some all-weather interest, especially from Andrew, because we're just not sure on Cheltenham. We're pretty sure it's going to be off. Obviously, recording on Friday morning. We will do some Cheltenham at the end, and fingers crossed it will be on, and then it will all be relevant. And if not, I suppose it was a waste of time, but you're welcome to watch it anyway. We're going to sort you out for the weekend. We've got Andrew Mount and Daryl Carter, as always. We're going to start at Doncaster. We've got that 1:30, obviously super race to start with, the Grade 2. And no surprise, Andrew, that Shiskin is bossing the market in this.
Yeah, just looking at William Hill's betting, they're 4-1 on, and you can see why. Fantastic horse, isn't he? And very impressive at Cheltenham last year. And when I was dead against him, as was the market, and I think he drifted up to about 10-1 at one stage before beating Abracadabra by a head. My pick, just to rub salt into the wounds. 2 from 2 over fences, both basically exercise canters round Kempton. But you know, the likelihood is he'll do the same thing here, have an exercise canter around Doncaster and win on the snaff, and shorten up again for his Cheltenham Festival target. Looking at the opposition, if you're looking for a without the favourite bet or an each way, Cheddleton is the one I prefer to Eldorado Allen. We'll try to avoid talking about trainer form and Colin Tizard being out of form, but he is. And,
I know we're allowed to now, aren't we? I sent a thing to Daryl that he said he thinks there is a bit of something on his horses, so we can say it now, because Daryl's exact words last week were, once you know there's something wrong, then fine. Right, well, we know there's something wrong, so we're allowed to say it now, even though we like Eldorado Allen.
And plus, we don't want to spoil our 8-hour trainer form special that we're recording next week. So, in terms of a betting point of view, there's not really a lot of meat on the bone here, because, you know, Shiskin probably wins bar of 4 and Cheddleton probably finishes second, and they're favourite and second favourite. So that's the way I saw it, and it's just a race to watch, really, and hope, Shiskin is electrifying, a bit like Sprinter Sacra was when he won here at Donny over these fences. So, nothing really to get stuck into from a punting perspective.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt as well. Obviously, Nicky Henderson won this last year with Mr. Fisher. I thought perhaps betting without Shiskin would be Cheddleton as well. Darryl, were you on the same, or have you gone somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what the pair of you both said. I can't really add any more than what Andy has done. Shiskin is just a sight to behold at the moment. I think horses like this don't come around very often, so I think it's just worth sitting back and taking a look, and probably not worth spending much more time on it from my point of view, really.
Yeah, I think everybody feels like that, don't they? We probably wouldn't back Shiskin at that kind of price, but you'd be happy to go and see him win. Moving on then, we've got the 205. We've got the mares race, and we can be a temperamental bunch, which I'm allowed to say, but you two aren't. What do we like in this?
Are we allowed to think it, Leonna?
Yeah, well, you can think what you like. You're just not allowed to say it out loud, you see. Daryl, you can start us off in this.
Yeah, I think you can make a case for quite a couple of these in there. Irish Row being one of them at double-figure price. It's a shame we've not got the 8 runners, because she's ran some fantastic races at Doncaster over the years, including this race last year when she was disqualified for a substance in the sample. I think the one with the most progression in her, and to be honest, I think she's probably miles clear of these at her best, is going to be Marie's Rock. I actually like the run at Newbury on seasonal return. She was behind Floressa on that occasion, but if you go back and watch that race, she was really keen at the start. She absolutely tanked through the race. She made a big mistake 5 out. Then she was squeezed on the home bend coming into the straight. Then she made another big mistake 3 out, which just halted her momentum. She got down to the second last, ducked out to the right, and then was just eased off. Now, that was her first run for a very long time after an injury. They stick the hood on today, tongue-tied first time, second run after a wind up. Tom Cannon is retained. Tom Cannon ran rode a really nice race on Frank Nice for Nicky Henderson first time last week. So the jockey booking doesn't put me off. I actually think Nico's probably chosen the wrong one here. I think Marie's Rock has got considerable potential going forward. I think she will definitely rate the highest of these by the end of the season, or by the end of their careers, if you like. I do really like her. She's got plenty of ability. Floressa's a strange one. She ran a good time at Newbury. I don't think she wants soft ground, and she was behind Irish Row in this race last year, so I think she's got enough. And Miranda, for me, I think needs to go right-handed. rather than left-handed. Rain as well, you can make a case for, but I do think Marie's Rock at 11-4, I think it's a cracking price, really. She's a really, really, really nice type for Nicky Enton.
Yeah, you have to assume, though, as you said, that Nico did have the choice. You think he's chosen the wrong one?
Yeah.
He
rode on our last 4 starts. I would assume that he would have had the choice between the pair. I do think he's chosen the wrong one. I think the conditions are going to get quite testing at Doncaster. I'm not entirely sure that Perez is going to enjoy that. She's been kept to good soft ground for the most part of her career, apart from one run at Cheltenham on soft, where she was beaten 22 lengths. And Rain as well finished ahead of her in that mare's hurdle. So I'm not entirely sure she's bomb-proof at 5-2 in these conditions. And like I say, I think going forward, I think Marie's Rock has got considerable potential.
Okay. Do you think Nico's chose the wrong one, Andrew?
No, I don't. I think Floressa will do best of the Henderson pair, although I wouldn't want to back her at 13-8. I stuck her up as a bet when she beat Marie's Rock in my GG column at Newbury a couple of runs ago. I think the key to her is just a flat track, really. She's been to Cheltenham twice, been beaten twice, but when she's had a dead flat track, she's always run a race, finishing first or second every time she's had an easy track outside a Grade 1 company. Say she was 4th to Silver Streak last time out at Kempton. That was just too much for her. I mean, she was 3rd past the post in this race last year when the 6-4 joint favourite. Promoted to 2nd subsequently because, as Daryl said, Irish Row was later disqualified. But I thought really I'd go Irish Row again. She's running this race for the last 3 seasons, finishing 2nd, and 3rd. So if you're looking, as a sort of place only each way, even though there's only sort of 6 runners, she's probably going to outrun her current odds, sort of 12-14-1. Rainer's World is another one who's got some great speed figures. Often runs well in defeat. But in terms of winning the race, she has only won once from her last 17 starts, and that was when the 5-1 on favourite. But I mean, I'd be looking at sort of Irish Row, Rainer's World as sort of place-only angles in this race. But I wasn't particularly keen on getting involved with those at the front of the market at current prices.
Yeah, and I don't like to keep highlighting it being a girl, but they can be a little bit unpredictable, can't they? Mares at times, seasons and things like that. So
yeah, I mean,
makes it a little bit more difficult.
So in terms of my betting over the years, you look at the certain races you do badly in, and they're often like sort of fillies handicaps or apprentice races, and where perhaps sort of if the form isn't perhaps 100% reliable.
Yeah, exactly. That's the 205 then. Next up is the 240, which is the Albert Bartlett River Don Novices Hurdle. Race with loads of live each way horses, I thought, in here. We'll start with you, Andrew, and there's a couple that I like to bigger prices as well, but I'll give you them at the end if neither of you have chosen them.
Yeah, I've been through this race and I couldn't really find something that I wanted to bet. Maybe Ashtown Lad, who was disappointing at Cheltenham last time out in Grade 2 company, having gone into that on the back of 2 impressive wins at Wetherby and Uttoxeter, and said the gelding failed to pick up in the closing stages. So maybe that race came a little bit too soon. That was about 3 weeks after the Uttoxeter win. So now that Ashtown Lad comes back fresh after a 7-week break, maybe Dan Skelton's 7-year-old could run a good race here. And I still think there's more to come from Shang Tang for Emma Lavelle. He was a massive eye catcher at Wetherby back in late October. At the Charlie Hall meeting, that 2-day meeting at Wetherby on the Friday and Saturday in late October, it was a massive disadvantage to race around the inside on the hurdles track. Shang Tang took the mug route round the inner all the way, performed miracles to finish 3rd. Has then gone and won well at Ascot next time out. And then since then, a fall at Wincanton. And sort of pulled up after running too freely apparently at Kempton, but 14-1, 16-1, it's possible he'll bounce back. But if I was just going to have one, I'd sort of take a chance on Ashtown Lad to extinguish the disappointment of that Cheltenham run last time.
Okay, Ashtown Lad to bounce back then from last time. Daryl, what do you like in this one?
I was extremely disappointed with Ashtown Lad at Cheltenham. I was very confident that he would win that after running a good time for it. You topped at the time before. Perhaps forgiving him that is no bad thing, to be honest. I don't really have. There's not a lot between a lot of these, as the official ratings would suggest, and even on the time figures that I've got for these horses, there's not a lot between them. There's no real standout candidate. I'm surprised Emir Sakra is at the top of the market, given how keen he was last time at Kempton over a short trip. He's up to 3 miles now. He didn't look the strongest of stayers over in Osoy. So I'd be keen to take him on with something. Exploiter probably has a little bit more to come. If he was in a handicap, I'd be keen to back him off a mark of 129. So he's probably got a little bit more to come. The two I'm going to side with, and I'm going to put two up in here. So make sure you tell the guys that do the features that is two horses in this, because one is 50-1, the outside of the lot, and that's Portstorm. This horse on the figures has got plenty to find, but there is so much pace in this race. If you go through this, Emirates Aquilon to be prominent, Flash Colons needs to be prominent, Bob's Hope No Hope prominent, Fern Hill prominent, Castle Robin took the lot. There is so much pace in this race, and this horse, Portstorm, just sits out the back, loves testing conditions, and has been crying out for a step up to 3 miles for quite some time. He's interesting because he's a second season novice. He's never run in a handicap, so we're not too sure what he actually has under the bonnet. There could be plenty more to come, and he could. If you go back and watch some of his races at Ayr and Carlisle last year, he's just been hung right out the back of the field and given so much to do. I'm not entirely sure whether or not they were attempting to handicap him going forward, and he must be in good heart at home after winning that Ayr in December and just thought they'd roll the dice at a grade 2 here. 50-1 seems a bit big for me, given how much pace is in the race, and he will come home very strong. Fern Hill is the other horse I like. He has been crying out for a step up to 3 miles. He's definitely going to improve. His form over witness protection has just worked out really well yesterday with a horse called Sheldon coming out and who ties him with a horse called Sheldon who came out and won yesterday. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up here. The third in that Weatherby race, Henry Godoff, came out and bolted up next time. Witness Protection is a useful horse, runs later in the 4:10, off a mark of 129. He looks very raw. He looks like he's got plenty more to come over this trip. So Fern Hill and Portstorm at big prices would be my play against the field. Each way plays a pair of them.
Yeah, okay. So my reasons are the same. Fern Hill is one of my ones. And the other one you said earlier, Exploiter. I just think both of these horses are still unexposed. And to be fair to Exploiter, I think he did struggle a bit last season. He just didn't look the same horse I thought that he has this time around. And an absolute slog, 3 miles will be absolutely fine for Exploiter, but a rising class. So they were my two because, again, each way prices, it's that kind of race. And I'd rather back those two at kind of 10s or 12s, whatever they are, than any of the ones at the top of the betting. So loads of options in a hard race there. The 240, fingers crossed we make it a bit easier for you in the 315, the Skybet Chase. Again, out of the top couple in the market here, there's only one horse so far that's proven at Doncaster, and that's Canelo, which is my pick, and it's my nap as well. Daryl, what do you think of that decision?
Yeah, not a bad decision. I just think a mark of 148 might be a bit of a big ask for him now. One for the team is very interesting here. Into a handicap after running in Grade 1, Grade 2 company over fences. He's £10 higher than when he bolted up over hurdles in his final start at Newbury. The soft ground is a slight question mark, but he does seem to stay longer than mother-in-law. So I think he's got a fantastic chance if this turns into a real slog. He wasn't disgraced at Kempton. I didn't think that track really suited him. On a big galloping track like Doncaster, off a mark of 141, I think he's very, very interested. The other horse in here is Musical Slave. He's finished behind Sam to venture on his only start over 3 miles. He definitely wants 3 miles. He handles heavy ground. He probably would have won that race at Uttoxeter if not for a mistake at the last. Now, the only concern you have with him is that jumping, but he's got a lovely turn of foot for a 3 mile horse, and he's definitely improving. A mark of 137 is well within his range. Those would be my two against the field. The rest of them look handicapped about right. And if you go back, the two at the top of the market, Canelo and Cap du Nord, they both ran on the same Newbury card as one for the team when he ran behind Next Destination. That novice chase behind Next Destination was faster than Captain Nord and Canelo on the same card. So other than the ground, which might be a slight concern, he was a good third behind Silver Sheen at Warwick and Stock Ground, so that maybe not as big as a concern as I'm making it out to be. He could handle it fine. But the ground, the only concern, I think, one for the team is a nice young progressive horse. I think that's what you need in a race like this. So one for the team and Musical Slave. Again, another 2 selections in this race because it's a tricky, tricky day.
Yeah, I was pleased to see actually Tom O'Brien getting on a half decent horse in a nice race. I like Tom O'Brien. I think he's a hard worker, isn't he? Perhaps one of them that doesn't quite get the chances that he perhaps deserves. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm very keen on one for the team here. I've had quite a good anti-post bet, and pretty much every horse I've been backing in the last couple of weeks, I've been putting in doubles as well with one for the team. So got a few quid going on him now. I had a long chat with his trainer, Nick Williams, last week, talking about future plans for this horse. And basically saying that they wanted to take advantage of this mark of 141, and that his Cheltenham target will be decided afterwards. And because he's been very well touted for the Ultima handicap. We went through that race in terms of like the handicap mark of sort of recent winners and horses who've run well in the race. And I think the plan will be if he wins this and only goes up to a mark in the high 140s, he might still go for the Ultima. But he is in the RSA and he is in the 4 miler or the 3 mile, 6.5 furlong at Cheltenham as well. So in terms of the ground, don't worry about that. Nick says he's not ground dependent. And I know he hasn't exactly raced on sort of soft or heavy as much as he has on good or good to soft, but that's just coincidence. There's no deliberate reason for that. And again, it's typical Nick Williams novice chaser. They learn their craft on the track. He doesn't school them a great deal at home, so they tend not to be ready. I mean, what was surprising about this one was that for his chase debut, he's actually gone off favourite. Given Nick's record with his first-time chasers, that was really surprising. He's unseated in the process of probably finishing second to Kaluki at Newbury. Easily reversed the form with the winner when chasing home Next Destination. And then last time out, he took the Adam Condrat route wide as anything at Kempton, never put in the race. I mean, it was almost like he was using a Grade 1 chase as a prep race for a handicap. And I think he's got a massive chance here. If he's ridden patiently, that'll be fine, because although Doncaster, as a general rule, seems to favour prominent races over fences, this race has often gone to a hold-up horse. He fits the stats in terms of he's not trained in the north. He's aged 7 to 10. He's... everything looks right for him to run a massive race here. So, one for the team would be my nap this week. And I'll be high-fiving Daryl if he wins.
No pressure then on one for the team. I read something yesterday. Christian Williams rode the winner of this race, didn't he? What was the horse called? I thought about it this morning and I thought I couldn't remember what the horse was called. But he did anyway, which I'm sure plenty of people like it. I bet you there wouldn't be lots of trainers that have ridden and trained the winner of if we're all wrong and Captain Ord wins anyway. That's the 4 Doncaster races that we're covering, isn't it? So we're going to do naps, next best, and anything anywhere else. So let's start with Daryl. We'll start with your anywhere else and nap and next best, and then Andrew can do his.
Okay, I'll give you my nap. It's running in the 12:55 at Doncaster. It's a horse called Dorking Boy. This horse ran a really nice race over fences, first time out behind a horse called Zoffy on good ground. Just couldn't pick him up in the closing stage. Looked like he needed a run. They sent him to Ascot over fences next time. He was just never in the race. Then they took the headgear off and stuck him back over hurdles off a falling handicap mark, and again run no real sort of race under real inexperienced jockey. Back on soft ground today, and his last. This is the first time he's going to count on soft ground this season. Back on soft ground, his last 4 runs on soft ground have been 9th in a Class 2 at Ascot, 4th at Huntington, beaten just 7 lengths in a Class 2. He won at Newbury in a Class 2 off a mark of 123. And you go back and look at that Newbury run. It was a real cracking run. The form throughout that race is just super strong. And he's running off a mark of 121. The headgear goes back on today. Back on a left-handed track. He's got a £7 claim to claim the £7. He's basically effectively run off a mark of 114 here. He's dropped right down into a Class 4, into a 0 to 120. And I think he's got a massive chance. He's double-figure price with Will Hill, 12 to 1.
Okay. Anything else? Anywhere else?
Yeah. God, I could sit here all day with you today.
You've got a few, haven't you? You said you like one in the
410.
Was it the last at Cheltenham? Yeah.
Yeah, 410. Martin Howe is a nice horse. He makes handicap David for mark 123 for David Pipe. This horse has got plenty more to come. He won last time at Exeter. He beat a horse called Gladiator Allen, who I've got a strong fancy with. I think he's a very, very nice horse going forward. He won next time out over extended trip 2 miles 5 in a really, really strong novice race. Yeah. And this horse has just got a real good attitude. He's 3 to 1 favourite for this. He's up against Witness Protection. I was hoping the pair didn't beat, but Martin Howe, David Pipe, it should just win off a mark of 123. It's definitely better than that. I can't tell you how well handicapped this horse is. If he comes on for that run, second run after a win dot, he's entitled to improve again. Martin out.
What's he in the betting at the moment?
He's
favourite?
3-1 fab with William Hill for the 410 at Cheltenham.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, I sort of gave my nap away earlier on by saying that's one for the team at the Skybet Chase at Doncaster. There's a couple I'm quite interested in on the all-weather at Lingfield. One is the 220, and that's Swiss Pride, who finally came good for Roger Teal over course and distance last time out. Now, that time it was a disadvantage to race towards the inside. The inside rail was dead. All the winners pretty much were coming late and wide down the middle of the track. He's won against the bias. He's 7-2 second favourite. There's a horse on a 4-timer who's 6-4 favourite, but there's nothing between them. In fact, Swiss Pride's slightly better on speed figures. So it's sort of 7-2 versus 6-4. He rates a bit of value in that 220. And in the 330, there's two I'm going to side with, both by the sire Lethal Force, a sire with a fantastic record on Polytrack, pretty useless generally on Tapeta, particularly at Wolverhampton. Both ran at Wolverhampton last time out. Golden Force, who was only fifth when 6-4 favourite, and Lethal Lunch. So, look at Golden Force, Lethal Lunch in that 330. And as like Daryl, I'm also interested in that 410 in the unlikely event that Cheltenham goes ahead. Over the years, two trainers have done really well in that race, who you wouldn't associate perhaps with Cheltenham Glory. One of them is Martin Keithley, who trains Witness Protection. The other one is Chris Gordon, who trains Highway 102. So Martin Keithley, 2 winners from 3 in this race. Chris Gordon, 2 from 5, including a close-up 4th at 28-1 and a faller who was in contention at the time. So of the pair, Witness Protection. But I doubt we're going to get to see that race, very sadly.
Yeah, me too. Obviously, you know my nap already. It's Canelo, so that's my exciting nap for the day for you. So that's Nap's next best. Couple on the all-weather as well. We've got our 4 from Doncaster. We've done our best to try and guess the weather. We haven't got a crystal ball, so it's obviously difficult. Cheltenham is going to be very wet if it goes ahead. As always, hope you've enjoyed the show. You can go to GG.CO.UK for all the race cards, tips, form, and anything else from Andrew, Daryl, and myself. And I think that's it then. We'll see you all again next week.